Good evening to all those who are watching, or good morning, or good afternoon, depends on when you stumble upon my ugly mug and that guy. But that guy does other videos like crafting and gaming, and I just anymore just sit around, smoke cigars, and talk to these poor bastards. So, but I do plan on doing back to the movie review. Um,
Cool. A lot of people asking.
just gotta find the time.
I'm getting ready to start reviewing comic book omnibuses. I found they're a very not inexpensive, but sometimes inexpensive way to I picked up the Silver Surfer issues 1 through 30 in a hardback, and
Nice.
I've never been able to afford even one of the old Silver Surfers. I mean, I could, but I don't want to pay like 30, $50 an issue. But for like 50 between 25 and $125, you get like 30 issues hardback with a little intro and behind the scenes and blah blah blah. And I'm gonna start doing that because now that I'm older and I can do that. There's some comic books I always wanted to read, but I just never could get into it. Like Fantastic Four, I always wanted to read that one, but never could. It was when I was young, it was it was in like the 200s. Hey, what's up, Bo? And I could pick up the Fantastic Four, the first 30 issues for maybe $50 or whatever, and get the feel for what it was like. Very 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 much a nostalgia trip. Pretty common for folks my age wanting to do stuff they couldn't when they were younger. And yeah, plus the usual, what am I working on now? I got a new game that I want to talk about because it looks like a lot of fun in person, but absolute impossible, online because of all the it's a dice pool game, and I find with that you literally got to see the dice.
Well,
especially since this particular game, instead of you're looking for like a target number, you're looking for ones, twos, threes, and fours of a kind.
I know the one I use, the VVT Roll 20.
Mm-hmm.
Once you go, it's like hypothetically, let's say, hey, Connell, roll me a d20. Unless it's part of my character sheet, I go to another side of the page, I click on the dice, and the rollout shows up on the chat.
The voice chat. Yeah. I'm in several. One Roll 20 and one Owlbear Rodeo. I don't know if it's.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, because it actually shows the dice roll. With OGGM, and so that's everybody gets to see the dice roll. That's cool, but when you're rolling, up to 9 dice, and you're trying to count the Yahtzees, so to speak, it makes it a little more difficult. And there's cards involved, and there's coins and tokens, and there's even a mechanic. I was telling Justin about this. Hopefully he'll show up, but he was not feeling well earlier. Where you got a pencil, right? And it says break this pencil for a certain effect. So you snap the pencil, which is completely wasteful, but it's a cute gimmick. You break the pencil and you get a special, maybe a +1 die roll or something. I forget what it was, but it's also got this map function of the world. For playing like Indiana Jones, the Mummy kind of games where you're globe trotting across the planet. It's got this little plastic airplane model that you move it across the board. Like when Indy was traveling.
I was just actually thinking of Indy, and that was always my favorite mechanic of the movie, where you just see that like red yarn or whatever, just like go
the little red dotted line showing the airplane going to. It's a silly little thing, but in person it could be a lot of fun, doing all that. And unfortunately, it just you lose it all trying to play it on a virtual tabletop unless the game's called Outgunned, and then there's Outgunned Adventure, and they just put out an Outgunned Superhero. But it's like GURPS. It's a multi-genre formatted game, and it's very very modern with the slang and the terms, and it's not your typical Roll20 game with the usual stats, 3d6. It's everything is from the ground up is very very different than all the other games out there, and I really like the idea of it being very action oriented, as in the original game was based on movies like Die Hard and Beverly Hills Cop. You're playing a normal dude in a weird situation on Earth, modern day ish, up prior to cell phones. They do say it's really much better if you don't have cell phones or smartphones, maybe cell phones, but not smartphones, because smartphones, give the average dolt access to a whole lot of information that would change everything.
Hey,
Speaking of adults, here's my boy.
I thought we were just looking at one the whole time.
Hey, what's happening, Sport?
Hello.
Hey, Jack.
I don't know if I told you he made Major last week.
Cool.
So we can't call him Captain Jack anymore. Now he's just a major pain in the ass.
Haven't I always been?
True.
So, how far can you rank up before you graduate?
Realistically, only one more time, but the maximum is Cadet Colonel, which I won't reach.
What?
Because it's impossible.
What?
Because I'm not the group commander.
What if you are next year?
I won't be. There's not the time, and I don't want to be.
Oh.
I got other things to do.
So what's the maximum you can make next year?
Cadet Lieutenant Colonel.
Oh, okay. That's not bad.
I'm going now.
What?
Come on, hang out with Uncle Connell. I got a bunch of naughty jokes I want to tell you.
Oh, well, I might be back.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sure down the stairs.
He's got a mountain of laundry that he's doing.
He's a teenager.
At least I'm not Andrew, who showed up to school without any underwear. An actual thing he's done on several occasions.
Yeah, well, it's all right. Sometimes you just need to breathe.
Commando's a thing. Every guy goes through that commando phase, or at least that's what I've been told.
Hey, there's a reason why I wear a kilt on a hot summer's day.
It depends on a lot of different things.
No one needs a warmly boiled pot of ball soup.
No.
So no, it sounds like fun. There's a couple games that a friend of mine would love to run, but he's like, I need everybody at my table. I'm like, well, let's see. I live in Illinois. That person lives in Ohio. That person doesn't even live in our country. So I don't see this happening. He's like, I know. I'm like, can't you find a way to run it on Roll20? He's like, I'll have to look into it. I'm like, if you want to run it, you'll find a way.
Yeah, but like I said, there's cards and there's like these coins that you hand out for certain occasions.
Oh, I get it.
A lot of tactile things going on, and it just takes a lot of that out of it.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I'm in like sometimes 5 games a week. I can wait on this one,
Gotcha.
but I've looked in the last 5 years. I've looked at probably 100 games, and this one is the one that's very up my alley because it's mostly Earth contemporary, 50s to or 30s to now, with weirdness thrown in.
So this is the one lifting your skirt at the current moment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm playing D&D right now. I'm working hard on my God Wars game. We've got 16 players all over the world doing this play-by-post war game where each god is trying to rule the world, and that's going to go to print in a couple of months. So
that sounds crowded.
Well, it's play by post, so I handle each person, as they give me their orders for the week, and
No, I
it,
get it. It just 16 people. That means there's 16 gods with 16 different
oh no,
agendas.
there's actually more like 30 because there's a bunch of NPC gods, so nobody knows who anybody is. It's all anonymous.
It's all elbows and assholes over there. Jesus.
Yeah, but we're also working on possibly making it a board game, maybe hopefully a computer game, so I can actually play it and see what it's like. If my you know strategies and thoughts on it. Jackie plays a lot of games like that, Hearts of Iron, and a lot of strategy world conquest games. And I've always wanted to play one of the old play by post games, uh, or the
It's
play
not
by
so much
mail
a
games.
it's not so much an RPG game, but there's a game called Flames of War, based on World War II, and it's a tank one. It takes, I mean, with a 3D printer, everything has gotten a great deal cheaper.
Sure.
But if you like strategy games and your local, well, you don't exactly have a local shop.
No.
Yeah, well, shit.
From what
Never
I
mind.
remember of it, um, I think it would be a better game if it was a smaller scale.
Well, it's only supposed to be one-on-one. I know a lot of people tend to. Uh, I know a few people that like to run it like teams of 5-on-5 or whatever.
Right.
But yeah. I mean, technically, you can clear your kitchen table, buy a couple tanks. Well, there's a lot to it, but yeah, it'd be fun. I
It's
think
just
Tales won't.
games like that though. Uh, you know, especially when you get like multiple tanks involved, tanks never really got that close. True scale on even on a ping pong 4x8 kind of table. You put 6 tanks on it on the board. 3 and 3, and it's very unrealistic. Um, they had those big guns for a reason, so they could shoot really far away.
Oh, I get that. I've talked to a
And when
nerdy.
you're using a tank to shoot at infantry, it just seems kind of 40K has the same issue. You put a couple of tanks on a ping pong table, and they're rolling over everything, and they're all bunched up like they wouldn't be, and stuff like that. That's why I like smaller scale for games like that, because then you got a dozen tanks in your force, and they're about an inch big. It feels more accurate.
That's fair. I don't know. I've talked about this game to nerdy gamer. Wait, is that her name?
Nerdy ogre.
No, the female, the young lady. Nerds
Oh,
nerd.
you mean a nerd's nerd?
Yeah, about it. And I don't know. It's fun. It will eat up. It will eat up some time. Good lord, it can eat up It can eat up an afternoon if you let it.
Oh, I've got Twilight Imperium up there. Never played it. That's an all weekend kind of thing.
So,
There's a bunch of games out there like that, which is why I got to open up the shop. Then I can do that. Hey, what's up, Per? What's happening, Per? I haven't seen you in a while, man. There's a bunch of people we haven't seen in a while. Anybody seen Squirrel Hermit lately?
he normally doesn't show up on my stuff, and he doesn't show up on Bears. I don't think he shows up on Bears often. I'm not saying he doesn't. I just haven't seen him over there.
I don't think I have either. He's more of a very old school war gamer, role playing game, Harn guy. Not a lot of Harn guys out there. But Bo was asking about him. I tried messaging him a couple times, and I know occasionally he can be found over at Legion of Myth, but I haven't been over there. I'm supposed to hopefully be there next Friday. I really hope Max didn't forget. That's my jam, dude. There's nobody who's more into genre smashing than I am.
That's what he's doing. Yeah, I should see the list. I mean, I love hanging out with Max. The last 2 times I did Legion of Myth, I had fun. I was there with, oh god, what was his bloody name? Crispy?
Oh yeah, he's a good guy.
and nothing against the guy, but he's very much a disciple of Shauner's way of gaming,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. If you got a master's degree in art theater, uh,
No, you don't need that.
feels like it.
He was very nitpicky on certain minutia, but the basic premise is the same. Play your character, not cheat.
No, not Crafty. Crafty Matt. No, Crafty
No,
Matt.
crispy.
Crispy. Like I
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
he's a nice guy. Just philosophy of gaming was just different from each other's.
yeah, yeah. I'm more about the people than the game. To be honest, if we end up, hanging out at the table and never roll a freaking dice and everybody's laughing and having a good time, that's just as
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I mean,
No,
especially with some friends of ours that aren't doing so well and they're getting up there in years and stuff. Um, you know, uh, when your time comes, you're not going to remember the die rolls. You're going to remember the laughs.
right.
And let's face it, there aren't enough of those around these days. And uh, last year was rough. I lost 3 good friends, Shauner included. And there's guys, I won't get to game with for a while.
To be honest, I actually like Shauner. I probably liked him a whole lot more than he liked me, which is fine.
Well, let's not forget he wasn't well at the end.
Right.
That end, dragged on for more than a year and a half, maybe 2 years.
His
He really,
his Skyrim videos helped me sleep.
I really enjoyed his videos with his AI companion.
Oh yeah, those were getting kind of cool and creepy, but kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen Rick around basically since then.
Oh
Rick was
no,
a great
yeah.
guy. And I missed playing. I love playing with him and the other guys. And
Sean Cherry, something like that.
Sean Cherry, I still talk to him every once in a while, but L was another one we lost. I know a lot of people didn't like him.
Did he actually pass on?
Yeah, he did. I was literally the last guy he talked to.
I thought he was interesting.
Yes, I just talked to Hungar a couple of days ago on the phone.
Oh,
and there's
some
other friends of ours that the clock's ticking a little faster for them than other people, and I'm real lucky. I've got a really good game on Sunday with people like Cal and Armstrong and Mac Thompson and Off Grid Gamer and Justin and Omenal. So it's good. Unfortunately, this Sunday, Jackie's got a recital, so I won't be gaming Sunday. It'll be the first game I think I've missed in a year, almost a year and a half of every Sunday playing D&D, good old fashioned AD&D first edition, the best edition ever.
Wait, so Jack's got a what?
He's a piano recital.
Oh, I was about to say, if he's in a tutu, I want to see pictures.
No. I did record his award ceremony. The kid won 14 awards for JROTC this last year, and the year before he got 13. He's won 2 national awards, and if he would just be a little bit more disciplined in a couple of little things, he'd write his own ticket.
I'm always of 2 thoughts when it comes to that. One, he is still a teenager, and I find teenagers that are too tightly wound turn into horrible adults.
Yeah, well, I mean, next year's his senior year, and if he's going to go into college, I don't have that kind of money.
I get it. No, I mean, honestly, even if he plays his cards still the way he is, with him making, was it general? What?
No,
Major? He's a major.
he made major. He might make lieutenant colonel. He'll probably make lieutenant colonel. I mean, if he stays the same, he can't help but make that. But when it comes to scholarships and things like that, or using the GI Bill, if he did either of those, he'd be set for life no matter what happened. No, there's no chance of that. I wish. Maybe but he's the youngest person who wasn't Chinese to ever work on a role playing game and get paid for it. With Arduin and Emperor's Choice, he did the all the flags for the nations of Arduin, and he did that almost 2 years ago now. Yeah, it's like 2 years now. So he was like right before his 15th birthday, he got paid $1,000 to make all the flags that are on the maps that you can get from Emperor's Choice of the world. And he and I got our names in the book, and we'll have our names in another book and Bear's book and some other stuff. So if he keeps, doing stuff like that, he could find a way through art. But he's got some other interests that he wants to pursue. Yeah, literally on the map, there's a place called the Shadow and Sun Mountains.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. Tenkar. There's also Tenkar's Tavern is on the map, which is that's forever.
Yeah.
And see, I grew up back in the late 70s, early 80s, playing the Arduin books, and not knowing that the writer lived up in Frisco, and I could have probably hopped on a bus and met the guy. He died at 42 years old. He was a combat photographer during the Vietnam War, 6 years in Vietnam. And he left us way too early. And, 40 plus years later, I get to work on the project that, if I had my choice of all the game companies out there to work for, it would have been Arduin. And guess what? I'm working on Arduin, and I'll be writing some stuff for the game, hopefully in the coming year, and not this year, but next. The new game will come out, and it's very different from your usual D&D clones out there, which I'm kind of, I don't know. I mean, I've been playing D&D since just about the beginning, and I've seen like all the iterations and all the clones and all the spin-offs, and Arduin's probably the only D&D derivative game that I would really get into playing, besides just playing AD&D, which is, we got to try it someday, dude. You got to give those books a look and see how they overcomplicated everything with second, third, fourth, fifth edition.
I don't think fifth edition is all that complicated. I think a monkey feats, with one up.
The feats give the dungeon master and the players a whole new freaking mass spectrum of things you've got to learn and memorize.
You can take the feats out of them in fifth edition. You don't have
how many people do you know that do that?
I do. I know at least 4 other DMs that run with no feats. You don't have to have feats in fifth edition. Yes, they add flavor to it or add aspect to it, but you don't need it. It's not like it was with 3.5.
Well, no, you never needed it. That's my point.
Right.
And same here, Per. I started with AD&D. It was my first love, and I played with feats. I played Pathfinder, and it's so much pre-planning and stuff. Whereas in the old days, you didn't plan for shit because chances are it was never going to happen. You were going to end up getting dragged down some road that you never planned on, which is the way adventuring should be. You should be planning like 3 levels from now, I'm going to do this. No, good luck. 3 levels from now, you're probably not even going to be on the same continent.
That is fair.
You're going to be some other place you totally didn't expect, and being self-sufficient and things like that. Like being the guy who can do everything. It just wasn't a thing. You needed your bros, or your sisters or whatever. Everybody had their part to play, and it's like those skill games, where at the end of a long campaign, you look at the character sheets and everybody's got the same freaking skills. I hate that. I hate that. You know, that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
that's what made like the great stories so good. Is, you know, like Robin Hood's perfect example. You know, each of the characters, you couldn't replace one with the other. You know, Friar Tuck or Little John or, you
well,
know,
that
Will
goes
Scarlet.
into, yeah, I get what you're going with that, but I made the same argument. This might not be the argument you're going with. Yes, those characters are important, and your story needs those characters. Any story needs a group of characters to make it work, you know. And it's
Yeah, the whole
awesome,
hero's journey kind of thing. You know, you got
right?
to have the Luke, the Han, and the Obi-Wan.
But if you're watching Indiana Jones and the what was it, Raider of the Ark, you don't need Indiana. Um, that movie would have worked out all the same, no matter if he was in it or not. But that's beside the point.
No,
Oh yes, it would. The Nazis would have found the Ark. The Nazis would have took it to an island. The Nazis would have opened up the Ark. They would have, self-deleted themselves through a spiritual sense. The U.S. government would have got hold of the box, and top men, I'm telling you, the top men would put in a crate in a warehouse in Arizona. Indiana Jones did not need to be there.
it wasn't about that. It was about the perspective of Indiana Jones.
Oh, I gotcha. Now, did Indiana Jones need to be in the Temple of Doom? Yes, he needed to be there. Did Indiana Jones need to be in the Last Crusade? Yes, he needed to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Did Indiana need to be in the Crystal Skull, the Kingdom?
Nobody needed to be in
No
that
one
movie.
needed to be there. But
And there were no other movies that I'm aware of.
the last one's actually really good, and it feels like the original one. That's why I like it. The Dial of Destiny.
That was the one thing in second edition per that was one of the innovations that they did, uh, where you could do what you're talking about there per by you got to choose where your percentiles were, you know, and where you put points into it. Um, but that's one of the few nice things I have to say about 2E. Uh, and I used non-weapon proficiencies in first edition via the Wilderness and Dungeoneers survival guides, but nobody ever used them. My party now, they're between 7th and 11th level, and I can't think of one time somebody worried about their non-weapon proficiencies. They just did their other stuff, and everything was.
No, that depends on the 3.5, especially. No, that depend on the DM with 3.5. Because if you had like a DM like Jade, he ran you through the complete gambit.
Yeah.
Where if you have a DM that's like just wants to run, a skirmish game like how Bruce runs his game, yeah, those skills are useful, but they're not needed as much.
But the God Wars, hey Cal, what's happening? Yeah, we were just talking about that. It's a lot of fun. And Cal's in the God Wars game, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, more than I expected, but I should have known better. Hopefully, some players or NPCs will get knocked out, make my job easier. Remind me, Cal. I need to. What is that? Enchiladas?
No, I wish. My daughter's put me on a diet. It's salmon and rice.
Okay, I can eat the rice, but the salmon.
Salmon's
Right,
good
Cal.
for you.
Yeah, I'm not a big fish guy. But Cal, you got to remind me. I need to. Right now in the God Wars, there's 15 or 16. One's about to get booted for non-compliance, and this week, if people don't get their freaking orders in real quick, they're gonna miss. They're gonna miss out on getting to do anything for a week. In which case, people are gonna pounce on their inactivity, and 1 week is enough to really jump you ahead. It's not hard. To be honest, the game kind of wrote itself after a while. I just based it on all the games I wanted to play, all those great shit, games, the like SPI, Avalon Hill, war games where you have little counters and simple things like that, and put it all together. Yes, 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 Cal. But
It sounds
it's
like an interesting game.
what
Sounds interesting.
if you're into empire building and stuff like that, and most of those games, you're I mean you're literally the god anyways, right? In a war game, you're like the general telling all your minions what to do. Well, I just bumped it up to one step higher. You're the god and you're trying to rule the world, and you know
I don't want to rule the world. I just want to be left alone.
Well, the other
I'm
thing
not-
about this though is what I'm doing is like in my AD&D game, the game takes place after a god war that ravaged the planet and melted the ice caps, so it's now like a water world. So I'm running a like a high seas adventure game where most of the planet's underwater, and it's underwater because of the god wars. And with uh, the god wars, we're finding out how that happened. So we're like playing the prequel while we're playing A New Hope at the same time.
Gotcha.
And so and there's 14 or 15, 16 races on the planet, and some of them might not make it through that. Some of those races are going to get flooded out of existence. So it makes we're building the back history of the world through the God Wars, so that when they start the second leg of the adventure, you will have a better idea of who's left alive. Obviously, some races exist in the current game, so I know at least one of those factions must have survived, and a couple of hundred years later, they're trying to eke out an existence in a water world.
Sounds interesting. Hopefully, it's better than the movie.
What movie? Oh, the Waterworld movie. I kind of liked it. Yeah, there's a couple of sea gods and things like that, but there's also, interesting things like there's a race of cat people, a race of dog people, two different factions of Mothmen, gnomes, elves, dwarves, hobgoblins, undead, some Sahagin like things, a race of crustacean weirdos live under the water, rat people, your basic Skavens.
Skavens do not exist. They're a myth.
Right.
They're told to scare children. I've been playing. Well, it's been a while since I've got to play, but I was playing Warhammer Fantasy, and we don't talk about Skavens or the rat.
Gnomes will be destroyed. Yeah, everybody's picking on the gnomes for some reason. Everybody's picking on the gnomes and the wolf people. And yeah, nobody knows who's who. That's the other thing. That was Justin's idea. Every player has to remain anonymous. If somebody finds out who you are, you're out of the game.
That's actually
It's genius.
that was brilliant. That is actually really brilliant.
That way, people can play, in character, and not worry about whose toes they're stepping on. And then we're going to have this sort of reveal party at the end to see who was playing who. Everybody's going to like fill out their bingo card saying, I think Justin was so-and-so. And then we'll see who's right. But I'm giving away 4 prizes for the game as well. First, second, third place, as well as the first player to create a 10-level dungeon somewhere on my world, which is something you can do, is make dungeons so that as they're doing this, I'm using 2 maps, so when they start putting their lands down, their castles and their dungeons and stuff, I can just overlay and go, oh, you're sailing over so-and-so's land from the before times. You want to go down there and do some scuba diving and check out some ancient ruins and go plunder the treasures left over from, so-and-so's kingdom.
There is this anime I was watching on Netflix. I'm not a big anime fan. For the most, I mean, there's a few I like, but as a whole, I'm like, not my bag. But it's called Dungeons or Delicious in Dungeons, Where this party, you got your human, an elf, a halfling, and a dwarf. I think there's only 4 of them are trying to rescue the human sister who is a mage, and it's kind of like a game where not a game where if you die in a castle, you don't die. If you die in a dungeon, you don't die. You just read something above. But if you die outside the dungeon, you're dead. That's just there's a weird curse on the dungeon.
Okay.
Anyways, they all agreed that we're not going back in town. We're not going to resupply. We're just going to have to find shit to eat down in the dungeon because let's face it, a party needs to eat. So the human and the dwarf are getting off on this. I mean, just completely having a great time as the halfling and the elf, right? Ew. Different monsters that are edible. It's like they run across, I don't know, it was a bird monster, cockatoo or whatever the fuck those things are. Yeah. Well, it's part chicken and part snake. It's a fowl and bird. So it's just, it's fun. And me being a chef, I'm always kind of thinking, it'd be kind of fun to play. I want to make a dungeon like that. Once you go into the dungeon, you're stuck in there. If you die, you go back to first level and you're locked in there until you're able to get to the last level and turn off the curse or whatever.
Okay.
But there's no grocery stores. There's no camping stores, no general stores, no magic stores. There's bugs in there that look like gems. And just kind of run it like that way. And yes, this is somebody else's idea. Somebody else, it's anime, and I like using other people's thought processing to build them. But just
we all do.
The great steal from each other. So why can't I?
Yeah.
So as and this could work in any system. You just have to have the right party for it.
Mm-hmm.
You're trapped on a planet. You're trapped in a dungeon. You're trapped on a space station.
Sure.
And it just, it works anywhere. I can see it. So when you're talking about that you can build a dungeon in your role, a guy can, I'm going to make a dungeon and they have to make it to the bottom and turn off a switch, but they can't leave. My character died. No, he didn't die. You're just back at level 1. And I know how
it's a little video gamey, but a lot of these games are, or vice versa, how we want to look at it. Like how big a dungeon is it? I mean, is it like Under Mountain big? Is it like
7 levels at most?
I just came across the largest dungeon.
7.
Have you seen that?
Which one?
It's like the largest dungeon in the world. It's like 1,600 pages of dungeon.
I've heard of it, but no, I've never seen it. I know the dungeon after Under the Mountain's fucking huge.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. I actually just got a copy of it a while ago, and it's like 16 pages of graph paper, but one level is 4 pages of graph paper, maybe bigger, maybe a lot bigger. It's just ridiculous. And hey, what's up, Justin? You feeling better, man? Right, that's how I heard about it. But it's a reboot of an old thing that came out. And no matter how you look at it, that 1,600 page dungeon is like 4 encyclopedias, and even the old version is like $200 to $500 depending on where you get it. It's just like, my players are okay with a couple of levels. They just finished a 5-level dungeon by skipping every room and just going straight to like the switch kind of thing, using a locate object spell.
Well, 4th edition came out with those board games, Wrath of Charlon, Curse of Strahd, or whatever it called. The board games, right? I bought them. I didn't really care 2 shits about the game. I just wanted the miniatures because they came with some really cool looking miniatures and tiles.
Gotcha.
I've used those tiles and I put them on the table,
Mhm.
and you guys are in a labyrinth. But you, not the DM, but you as the player get to determine on which direction you go until they hit a certain point in my head. And doing something like
Yes,
that.
yeah, Cal.
Go for it.
Oh, Cal says we rang the dinner bell. Yeah, they're in a dungeon. They were in a dungeon full of undead, and they got out. Uh, they could have got out easier, but when you got six old farts playing a game, everybody's got different ideas of how to do things, and sometimes their inter party discussions can ramble. The last vamp issued a warning, and he couldn't take the heat. I just thought it was a she, wasn't it? The queen, the vampire queen. We were actually running through the very first dungeon ever published, which was Palace of the Vampire Queen. Highly modified.
Okay, I know of that one. I haven't seen it, but I know of it.
Yeah, it's a nice little piece of history and whatnot. And I got to check out these old things. Right now I'm looking at the oldest things I can find. Hey, what's up, Justin?
Okay.
I keep joking with my DMs that next time my character dies, which I have a habit of making characters that survive, thank God.
Okay.
In Bruce's campaign, I don't play Bruce's campaign to win. I play Bruce's campaign because A, I enjoy him as a DM, and B, how many campaigns can Chance survive? How many sessions?
Yeah, you're not supposed to play role-playing games to win.
Yeah.
But it's a game. The idea of playing games are winning. Is winning.
Oh.
No, I'm personally of the opinion that every character when you start out should have like a lifelong goal that you should be trying to attain, achieve, or avoid,
I want 30
on this situation,
I
and,
want-
and use that as your motivation. I just made up a character for Bo's game tonight.
It doesn't help when you create that and then the DM negates it because he's too afraid it might be overpowered or something, even though it's supposed to be a perpetual never happens thing. Shadow.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be so many things.
My goal is I want my character to have 32 children, and their children have 32 children,
32 different women,
and have 64 grandchildren.
Okay.
Now, if the 64 children all have 3 kids, I have 192 great grandchildren, and it just keeps multiplying.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be you around I don't know, birthdays and Christmas, which is going to eventually be every day there's a birthday.
Yeah. F off. I'm poor.
And for
I want to play Genghis Khan without the murder. More of the
No. It's D&D. It's only the murderer. It's only the murderer. Also, you're a hobo, so yeah, it's Genghis Khan. Yeah, it's kind of a drifter, killing people randomly.
I want 10%.
So Justin and Cal, have you guys done any of the work for your designing of ships, airships, that sort of thing?
Not yet. I'm gonna meet up with Off Grid on the weekend there, and we can draw something out.
Yeah, Jackie's recital is like I got to be out of the house like a half hour before you guys would normally get together. So hopefully you will get together and get some stuff done. No fighting, no arguing. I want to come back and find out you guys hate each other. You got just a big old argument about something that had nothing to do with nothing.
Yeah, well, that's gonna happen. This is me we're talking about. I argue with people. recklessly when I'm not nauseous feeling.
And what happened? Food poisoning or something?
Nah, just
It's called Canadian food.
our food is brilliant.
It's
Brilliant.
probably French.
Yes,
Our
glows in the
meat is
dark. Is that what you
clean.
mean?
What? Glows in the dark. Guess we could make
Oh,
that
that's right,
happen.
Cal. I'm sorry about that, bro.
Yeah.
Cal won't be there, so you'll
Yeah.
have to exact your revenge some other time, Justin.
You gotta play
Yeah.
with yourself. Like,
Oh. I will find a way to kill Cal, and then there'll be no one to play his character anymore. So
I was just talking to Bo about Cal's character. Cal's character's a badass, dude. I've always been a big fan of what druids can do.
yeah, well,
They can be really fun. And someone I was talking to was like, you can't do a druid in a high seas adventure game. There's nothing for them to do.
that is so not true.
I know, right?
Just
So-
because
so
you're
much so that-
Purr's like Justin.
just because you're a druid, the druid is a
No,
person
he's
of
talking about the
nature.
thing.
If you are of nature, the ocean is part of nature. Some
There's
natural
plenty to do.
ally is going to be dolphins and shit like that. You have control over water instead of plants. Oh yeah. Oh my god. That's
Call
lazy
lightning,
thinking.
anybody?
What?
Call lightning on a ship. You see the pirates are chasing you. You get your druid up in the crow's nest. He starts casting his call lightning ritual. Sure it takes forever, but when the pirates finally get within range, he starts raining down lightning bolts on the enemy ship. They got no idea where that shit's coming from.
Which one of the Pirates of the Caribbean? It was the last of the original three. When they're fighting Davy Jones and the ocean, they're the storm, the monsters. Oh, come on. Yeah, you could definitely be a druid in on the ocean.
Hold on a second. I don't know if you can see right there. There's a little tiny Aquaman, and then up there, there's one of the Mego reproduction 8-inch action figures. I found that at a Walmart. I used to have one when I was a kid. They first came out. They were like a big deal.
Is your Aquaman blonde with blue eyes?
The only way Aquaman should be.
6 feet tall. Looks like he's part of the yes, Ultimate Race.
Yes. The Atlanteans, yes.
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 A certain German's wet dream.
I don't know about that. But
Connell, shut up.
Bo was talking because he wanted to run the Druid before Cal did, but Bo just couldn't make it on Sundays. And he was just like, I want to run a Druid with a trident, on your high sea game, and do the whole underwater thing. And I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So Cal, if Bo comes in, he'll be your apprentice, and you'll be, what was his name? From Little Mermaid?
you gotta do it the other way around. He's Cal's long lost master.
That's not a bad idea either. But I don't want to. I know
Because
Bo,
I want to fuck with Cal.
I don't think Bo would want to do that because he'd want to come in low level and earn it.
I don't care what Bo wants.
Going, because that would mean that Bo would have to come in as like a 14th or 15th level druid and miss out on the whole.
He could have been level drained.
That's fucked up, man.
Bo's gonna come here. I already sent Bo the link for this. He's at work, so he can't pop in. But he's gonna pop in and kick you in the virtual Jimmy there, Justin.
Why? That happens to people in world.
Yeah, it almost happened to you. It almost happened to everybody.
But I'm a badass, and then I almost wiped the party out. But you guys were pussies and shit.
Dude, when those shadows had you like surrounded, one misstep, and
Did any of them have pineapples?
Justin would have been a shadow of his former self.
But you got to understand, I've got big dick energy. So that's
No,
not
you've
gonna
got
happen.
you've got two or three of the most overpowered magic items anybody here in this panel and viewing this have ever seen. And they were no big deal in Arduin. That's the best part. It was like, yeah, here, have this. Here, have that.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever.
Yeah.
So what if you can 3 times a day breathe an ancient freaking random dragon's breath weapon, you know,
But
out
but
of a
but
wand.
but if it's fire, you have wicked heartburn. If it's acid, you have acid reflux. If it's lightning, your dick doesn't work for a week.
He would never
That's not
use
gonna
the freaking
happen.
horn again.
Yeah.
He's building up a small harem. He's got a slave girl who doesn't like to wear clothing, and he's got a female werewolf that doesn't either, but she likes to wolf out from time to time. So Justin's banging a furry and a Princess Tiny Feet from the Venture Brothers.
Yeah.
Pepto Bismol went to the game with his breath weapons. I don't have a problem with magic weapons. I never have. They're fun to use. But I don't know where I'm at in my gaming experience or my gaming evolution. But I think just because you have a magical item doesn't mean there can't be a consequence of using it. And
There usually should be, but we're not playing that. We're playing 1E. So
well, no, there's certain in all the
fuck your
editions
knob.
I've ever played, in Pathfinder D&D.
There are magic items in my game that have consequences. They've
Yes,
come
but not
across.
enough. Not enough.
Well, believe it or not, you guys are walking around with a bunch of them, and who knows when they're going to rear their ugly heads.
Yeah,
It's like
my horn of pure evil or whatever. The
if
one that summons devil dogs.
That's one of them.
That was the one that got thrown into the abyss there. The other one,
No.
the one I have is.
I know you're not a fan
Shadows.
of Dresden Files, Shadow, but I like the concept of okay, this is your con modifier. All right, this is how many points you have. What are these points for? Using magic. If you run out of these points, you can no longer cast magic, or you start doing physical damage to yourself.
In some games, that's fine. In
Yeah.
others, it just doesn't work. It's too forced, and like I've seen games where like that, and everybody's like, "Yeah, I'm never going to run a magic user." And
Well,
That's the point.
Yeah.
That the point is that only people who want to live in the world of consequences to enjoy character development. Play those
no, I
characters.
mean they're like Dungeon Crawl Classics. From what I understood, from what I read, the penalty for just doing some of the stuff that you can do in every other game is the consequences are freaking pumped up to 11, and you could spend all that time just rolling up a character first time out, first spell, and suddenly you're growing
Yes, but
tentacles and shit.
you're taking that to an extreme where, like the way Connell
You met me?
explained it. Yes, you do that, and it's annoying, and it makes it hard to have decent and actual conversations with you about things. And that's why I call you gay. You're gay. Gay.
No, that's not why. That's
Well,
completely
I'm
different.
adding it to the list. I'll revise the contract. I have a subclause that says I can do that whenever I want, and that it's not defamation. Article 3 or 4, subsection 1, whatever.
With magic casters, you have the universe at your pinky. All the powers of the universe at your pinky.
Little tiny living space.
And no, that was a Willow reference. But anyways.
Yeah.
And okay, I cast 5 spells. I'm out of spells today. Okay.
Yeah, that's where, like, okay, I like the idea of you have X number of safe, but say it's a D20 roll and you roll a 1, you have a chance of effing things up and getting the tentacles, like Shadow said. You got to roll on the oops, I fucked up chart. But if you use all your points, then that number goes up, right? So it's maybe a 2 or a 3 or a 4 on that D20 now.
Yeah, your save goes up instead of yeah. I
The only
mean,
the only problem with that is I get the classic argument. Well, everybody, nobody else has that penalty. Just doing what they're supposed to do. Or
Yes,
expected
but
to do.
nobody else can call hellfire down from the sky, and when you do that kind of thing, you like remove all the bullshit penalties for like armor and crap like that, right?
Yeah,
Or at least the heavier stuff.
sure.
I,
You
in
have
my
certain
head,
things like I can't wear chainmail because magic or
how
something
does
stupid.
chainmail stop me from doing this and saying words
Yeah.
or flipping a wand?
It was a gaming mechanic based on
Yes.
the the stereotypes of Merlin and Gandalf never doing that. But when you have the opposite with elves being able to wear full plate armor and fucking blast off fireballs, it's like, well, why would I ever want to not do the elf thing?
Why? Yeah. No, I mean, I'm certain things bother me. Certain things have always bothered me as a DM. If I have a party that's out in the woods and I am less likely to penalize somebody for falling asleep. What kind of armor are you wearing? I'm wearing chainmail. What are you doing? Da 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 da. And I'm gonna go to bed. I'm not gonna penalize them the next day for wearing chainmail while you sleep because you can get a full night's rest in chainmail. You can get a
Yes.
full night's rest in leather armor. Not so
Sure.
much in plate armor, but to a certain degree, sure. Like a chest piece, yeah, you can sleep just fine. But I will penalize somebody if they don't have a fire.
Yeah,
You,
fires. Yeah,
you freeze to death in the middle of the night, or some bear comes and gnaws your face off. They won't come near the fire.
I
yep,
know,
yep.
but
They'll come
I
near
know
your
what you
sleeping
mean by
bag.
don't do elves and things per. Uh,
I know this is supposed to be fantasy, and I know fairies are supposed to fly out of but it can still just a little bit, just a tad of reality, of realness.
Well, I'm just saying, I can now cross off Cal as an elf in the God Wars as a metagamer in God Wars. I plan on doing my best to figure out who people are and check them off the list through disqualification of gameplay.
I can only imagine Justin's bingo list of who's who.
Well,
Already been
I can
Googled up.
honestly say I
Are
am
you play?
not in.
Are
I
you
am
playing the
not in
God
this
Wars?
game.
You're not in the God Wars? Okay.
No, I'm not. Shadow did not ask. I'm.
Justin, you suck.
Would I play?
You
Sure.
can still join. You're only a month behind.
I'll talk
Yeah.
to Shadow about it. I'll
Yeah.
send him random.
I'll send you the document. You read it. It's 150 pages
Oh,
with
fuck
artwork.
you.
There's a lot. There's a lot of artwork there.
How much
There's
of
a
it's
lot of
artwork? Five
there's a lot of
pages of
beautiful artwork. Yes.
like 3 pages of rules I need to read, and the rest is artwork.
No.
No,
More like
but there's a lot of like charts and shit like that.
Judge, I'll think about it.
And the pages vary depend on what display
See,
you're
here's
accessing.
the problem. You know me, Justin. If I decide to do something in Shadow's game, it's like, well, that's a condom thing. It's like, well, fuck.
Yes, you are a condom. No,
and
you can only do so many things.
yeah, and Cal, real quick. No, actually, if someone were to leave, I still have to make up. Like, say Connor wants to join right now, I have to make up an NPC faction to add as well, so they can only narrow it down 50-50. Otherwise, they will know instantly who he is. If only one faction shows up, well, then that's obviously Connell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I could give him one of the factions that's already playing, and he can play them and take over for them, which is another way, and you'd never know who it was.
Yeah, well, if he creates a race that's very similar to one of the, like if you talk to him and he's like, I want to play this, and this, and it's like, are you okay being named this? And then just, you know what I mean?
Actually, I don't.
And just turn over one of the already existing NPCs.
I don't want to be a god. I want to be that guy who kills gods.
No.
Um,
Okay, then I know who Connell is. He's the guy
Right.
who kills gods. You're out of the game.
Well, don't get me wrong. Can't you kill another god in this game? As could a god
Yeah,
kill?
but that's what you're supposed to be doing.
that's
Goal.
So if I decide to be Butcher off of the boys, or whatever the guy is off of,
That's what everyone's doing. Everyone's trying to kill everyone else. So,
and
like,
obviously, even if you kill off, even if Cal were to kill off all the elves, he already knows there are elves in the world, so somehow they survive the cataclysm.
I don't know.
He
That
just
has to
kills
be
off all
the
their
thing,
empires.
All right.
But they, you guys all know that all it takes is one human or one survivor, or two, I guess, because you'd have to have a male and female to make babies, and they can bring back the religion as long as there's survivors. So
No, you gotta pull it out by root and stem.
things are complicated by race and alignments, and there's
If
Because
one
there's like 4 factions of elves, 4 factions of humans, 2 undead.
I
couple
want to
races.
play. I want to play a druid.
Don't say it.
I want.
Don't say.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Because this would also give me away. I want to be
That's
a
the
god that makes cigars. Well, that's Connell.
Yeah, we don't do any of the trading or the economics or any of that stuff in this game because there's no point. And it would overcomplicate it. I am working on a sci-fi game where there will be trade and economics, the same kind of game, but a science fiction galaxy spanning, where you're building an empire, but there's no gods. It's just technology and maybe psionics and alien races and shit. But that's like a year or more down the road. Hopefully,
Send me the information if I can.
I'll send it to you. It's not hard, and like I said, everybody's got kind of the you do 5 things a week. Like maybe I'll build a castle, or I'll raise an army, or I'll make a monster appear out of nowhere, and that's now one of my minions.
Wait.
Shit like that.
I know what you should call this game.
It's called God Wars.
Yeah, I know, but I know a better name for it now. If I have to do 5 things a week, I know what I need to. What you should name this.
Wow.
Dolge. Not Dolge. The what is that fucking called? I make fun of it all the damn time. And I can't think of it.
Well, it already exists.
The thing that Musk is running.
Doge.
No, we've already got all the imagery. Raven made me this calendar. I don't know where she is. I invited her to come join us. Yeah, she made this calendar with artwork from the book and some other artwork. Sent it to me on my birthday. And if all goes well, we're going to make a coffee table book of all the art that George made with little blurbs, of kind of like a story, but mostly just art. Full vanity project, mostly just to show off, because man, you got to see the artwork, Kyle. It's
sounds
all
fun.
those arguments for AI artwork sucking
are by petty little bitches.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen other creators out there, Bear, and a few other people make AI work, and it's absolutely fucking gorgeous. It's
Bear's not doing any AI artwork. He's totally opposed to AI art, except
he's showed me a few things that he's made, not for his book.
Oh, okay.
Just putzing around.
Yeah. I mean,
no, that cyberpunk book he wrote, whatever, that has an AI cover on it.
God of Meth,
yeah.
Oh, and yeah, Jackie's playing too. Speaking of meth,
Shadow's not playing.
No, I'm playing the NPCs. Well, I'm not playing them. I'm rolling up with the 2 every week.
So there's like several meth empires and gay porn empires out there. Some are meth gay porn empires.
The home of the Velvet Glove.
Well, it was Velvet. Now it's just semen soaked. You earned this, Shadow.
No, I
You
didn't. It was
earned
totally.
this.
Son of a bitch. Okay. Yeah,
Oh,
I really want to get a freaking poster, one of the God Wars posters up here, real freaking
Yeah.
soon.
Shadow, did I send you those pictures that I got professionally done?
Yes, yes.
What pictures did you have professionally done?
Just some black and white photographs of himself.
Oh,
It was, yeah. I keep getting, it's funny, and I'm not trying to sound egotistical on this one. Everybody I've sent them to, because it wasn't just you. I sent to like what, 5 people because I don't know which one I want to pick to get framed. It's like, you very mafio. I'm like, I want to go for mafia. It's a cigar. It's black and white. Of course, it's mafia, right?
yeah.
Hold on.
Oh, why would you do that? You just take a picture of yourself and then ask ChatGPT to make it look professionally done.
Oh, these pictures are done. I'll send one to you. I think these.
Okay.
Shadow, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they were well taken pictures.
Yeah, but how much do you spend on it?
0.
Okay, that goes.
No. The lounge was having a derby party, and we hired the
Take care,
lounge.
Cal. I'll see
Hurry
you.
up, Gal.
Maybe tomorrow night. We're supposed to have a traveler game, and again, our condolences for your friends.
Yes, Cal.
and
So
if you
Carl,
do get time, try to step in Sunday and say hey to the guys for me.
yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be like the first game I've missed, and if ever, I think I might have missed one game, but I can't remember if I did why I missed it. Otherwise, it's like
Yeah, you missed one game. The one where you're looking down, Connell,
Yeah.
axe that one. It does not look good.
Okay.
just burn it now on
Well,
camera.
compared to the other two.
Well, the
It's got
problem with the one
more
where
of a
I'm
derpy look.
like blowing smoke, people said, "Well, you don't." I've been told, "Well, that could have been a cigarette or a cigar. We don't know what it is." So it's normally
Yes.
the one where I'm holding the cigar like this has been the number one
Yeah.
pick.
Yeah, because you're covering your mouth.
This one is looking.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
The one where you're smoking, if it was more at an angle, would be perfect. The one where it's the smoke, if it was like up like this,
Yeah.
would definitely be the best one.
Gotcha. Well, the guy's wanting to come in and take some retakes. So
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You could just like take a picture of your hand
yeah.
and put it in there.
I was going to see.
Just put it at like a totally fucked up angle so it's not physically.
Or better yet, get
possible.
one of those prosthetic hook hand things. The
Oh yeah, yeah. No, the
looks
The
like a
picture-
bent coat hanger. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, have it holding the cigar and then just like take a photo of
Okay.
it and then match it in black and white and then just post it on top. It's obviously fake. The lighting's all wrong.
I can't even imagine what that must be like. I remember. About
See, this
15
is the one
plus
there. This is one of them for the people in chat.
Yeah, well, your hand looks all freaking AI derpy. It's like, what the fuck's wrong with your hand?
Yeah, it's real, but like if it was more an angle, so you see the
Yeah.
cigar.
Well, I was thinking about. I was talking to the guy who did it, and I was thinking about getting this cigar. Actually, put that back into color where it actually looked like it's lit.
I gotta say, dude, if you're gonna do that, wear a tie.
Oh
You know?
man,
Yeah, get the suit out.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Get the suit
This
out.
is the other one that I don't
Yeah,
think it's horrible.
It's the forehead and you look like you're
He
taking a
kind of
turn.
looks like Lister from Red Dwarf in that picture, don't he?
I don't have dreads.
From the nose up.
Uncle Lurch.
No, he kind of looks
Uncle-
like.
Yeah, it's still if the cigar was just like like in the open space under the smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
see
Do
your
him
hand
over.
and-
Wear the fucking tie.
I don't even know if I have a tie anymore.
Wear a shirt that has a collar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you're gonna do
Go
something like
to the
that,
Salvation Army and get one with a gaudy pattern.
no, go with a gray, a charcoal.
I
You're not
used
gonna
to.
see ridiculous colors on the image. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I was wearing a black shirt with the Cuban Garabert, whatever the fucking name of the shirt is. Where if I do it, it has like I could button it down. Yeah.
no. You want the overshirt. You just want something with that like a polo or something underneath.
Okay. Uh,
I don't know. Whatever doesn't look like a t-shirt with a stretched out neck hole. Because that t-shirt. has a
yeah,
stretched out neck.
everybody's
that's
gonna think
fair. That's fair.
gonna think of that one commercial where the guy's wearing that shirt that's all jacked
You
up.
look great. You look comfortable.
You look like you just woke up after fucking an 18-hour long nap.
I could go for an 18-hour long nap.
I would literally stomp a puppy up. I would literally stomp a puppy to death for 18 hours of solid sleep.
Yeah. When I canceled my show this afternoon, I went to bed and I slept for 8 hours.
Awesome.
I just can't sleep.
That's an impressive record for me. I'm lucky if I get that in a month, Connell.
Well, not to completely dive into the craziness that was my past, but I suffer from night terrors. So getting any real sleep it's kind of rough.
I
terrors.
yeah, I don't get that. I don't understand that.
You should write a book. Well, he was molested as a child, Shar.
I can only think of one
I
thing.
called you Shar that time.
I can only think of one thing that scares me, like that can scare me like that in all of existence.
Did you do this to me?
No, I twilt. Spin my finger.
It looked like you did this to me.
No, I did not do this. I went round.
No. Look at the finger
That
I'm
still looks
holding
kind of
up.
gay. Just saying.
Oh yeah. No, it was this one, not this one, not this one, not this one, but that one.
It still looks kind of gay.
Well,
got
if anybody
visions
here
of
knows
women in my
if
fucking
anybody
brain.
here knows what that looks like,
Yeah, I do that all the fucking time. Double barrel.
tuck your thumb in. It's not an offer.
This is I
The Hawaiian good luck sign. You guys know that story?
The Hawaiian, no.
Some GIs had been taken prisoner or something, like in Vietnam or Korea or something, and they were forced to take a picture, for like ransom purposes or POW trading or whatever, and they all did this in the picture, or this or whatever, and the Vietnamese or the Koreans or whoever were taking the picture didn't know what that was, so they all told him it was the Hawaiian good luck sign.
That's great. There's a picture of Winston Churchill doing this, and in Britain, this is like up your ass, more or less, doing this. When it, you think of V, peace, or victory, whatever.
No, it's this way. This way is the up you. This way is peace.
Yeah, and
it's a Hawaiian good luck sign.
Yeah.
They're not sounding like trying to sound badass. It's mostly I just don't give a fuck anymore. There's only one thing that really scares me.
Well,
I do like a Hawaiian deluxe. That's all I'm saying.
Was it when Maggie was born? She didn't. She came out the same way I did, with her cord wrapped around her damn neck, and she didn't breathe for the first 2 minutes. Scariest moment. Scariest.
Yeah, anything to do with Jack, in a bad way. Yeah, I remember I had like one actual nightmare. There you are, Raven, in my life, and it involved Jackie when he was much younger, and that scared the shit out of me. I woke up and I'm like, holy crap! I had to go check on him and everything.
I was asked, like, hey, did you ever that nightmare that people get when they're kids that you go to school in your underwear? I'm like, yeah.
I never had that one.
I've had that dream. It wasn't a nightmare, no, because I don't give a fuck.
Nightmare for them.
He's like, hey, I got a new kilt. I'm a happy, happy man. Happy, happy, happy.
Yeah, I never had that one.
Yeah, no, me either.
I saw it on
Oh.
TV though.
I had to do a couple. I had in high school. I was on the debate team. I've always been somewhat stage shy. I've tried to work through. I've done things to help, but I've always been kind of stage shy. And somebody's like, "Just imagine them all fucking naked," and I'm like, so I go out there. I'm like, "Oh God,
You're not
no!"
supposed to imagine them naked. You're supposed to imagine them taking a dump. And there's only two reasons for stage fright. Once you know what those are, you can pretty much conquer it.
Yeah.
And that is
What are
not knowing the material.
Yeah.
If you don't know the material, then you have every right to be afraid to be afraid to be on stage because you don't know the material.
You
What the
shouldn't be
fuck
up
are you
there.
doing?
Yeah,
And
that's
the
why
other
you're
reason
supposed to
is
rehearse.
the other reason is if you have a hostile audience. If you have a hostile audience, you shouldn't be there either. And if you don't have either of those things, and you know your material, and you know you're out there talking to friends or people who want to see you talk or perform, then why are you afraid?
You ever heard of the?
You're in your own head.
Yeah, I live. Yeah, I basically live most of my time in my head. I overthink. You ever heard of the Irish Whirring Stone?
Sounds
I've heard of the
familiar.
Blarney Stone and I've heard of Worry Stones, but
Worry
not the Irish
stones.
version.
Irish worry stone,
Is
right?
that a potato that's gone bad?
No, it's a stone that looks like has a thumbprint, in it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
been
yeah,
rubbed
yeah.
out.
That's a
So,
Worry Stone.
worry stone. You know the saying that goes with it.
Something
No.
about your mom.
No. So in life, you have two things to worry about: if you're sick or if you're well. Well, if you're well, you have nothing to worry about. If you're sick, then you have two things to worry about. Are you going to get better or worse? Well, if you get better, you have nothing to worry about. If you get worse, then you have two things to worry about. If are you going to live or die? If you live, you have nothing to worry about. If you die, then you have two things to worry about. If you're going to heaven or to hell. And if you go to heaven, you have nothing to worry about. But if you go to hell, you're going to be surrounded by all your friends anyways, so there's nothing to worry about.
I feel like you made that up.
No, it's a
No,
thing.
It seems
sounds,
a little too long and convoluted to be a saying.
No, it
it's-
sounds very Irish. No, I won't be
I
surrounded.
feel like
by-
there's some steps that should be cut out of there to make it sound more colorful.
I know for a fact that when I die, I will not be surrounded by my friends in hell. I will be surrounded by my exes.
No, they're all going to heaven for trying to put up with you.
There is some.
Oh, I'm working on my sainthood right now. I'm putting up just an inch shadow. Holy shit.
Yeah, no, I am.
Yeah,
a good
you don't
boy.
get sainthood for that. Not yet.
Ah, damn.
Not until Jackie's Pope.
I get sainthood for that.
I want to be, if I became a saint, jokingly, because we all know it's never going to happen. I might become a martyr, but me becoming a saint, yeah, not likely.
Well, what are you gonna get martyred for?
My beliefs.
Being ugly.
Your beliefs. You have no beliefs.
I do too.
Yeah,
you believe
he's
you'll
a
have another.
nihilist.
You believe you'll have another.
Exactly. I'm a pacifist too. No, I want to be the patron saint of cigars.
Why would
Hookers
they
are
ever
already
have them?
taken by Santa Claus.
Hookers.
Hookers, prostitutes, but yeah. Good old Saint Nick, patron saint of children, seamen, archers, and children.
Well, wait a minute. The hookers are already full of semen. So what are you talking about?
People that work on the sea, seamen. Come on.
Saint Nicholas is the patron of sailors. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought someone else was.
I got screwed when I got that list of saints that I pray to. There was like Saint Michael, Saint Gabriel, Saint Christopher, Saint Peter, the basic ones. I don't want to say basic, but And so I picked Saint Jude, was the saint of lost causes, just because I'm a smartass. And as I got older, I'm looking to all the other saints. I'm like, I got screwed. There's some fun ones on this list.
Give me some examples.
Saint Lucifer, not the devil, but a different one. I see.
What did he? What was he the saint of?
Oh, Saint Lucifer. I don't remember. Oh, Saint Arnold. Saint Arnold of something. I can't remember the last part. Saint Arnold is the saint of brewers, hoppers, and rakers. So making alcohol. There's some fun ones out there. I can't. Who's another one's fun?
Yeah, you want to join us, Raven? I'll shoot you the link.
Again.
And tell us about the trials and tribulations in cat hell or cat heaven. I don't know. You take your pick.
Yeah.
When it comes to cats, I always think of that line from Constantine, the Keanu Reeves version of it. Cats are perfect. They're part of both. I'm like, yeah, I know. They're neither here nor they're there.
I always think of that line from A Knight's Tale: "Hot wine and cat's feet."
Oh,
I just try not to think about them at all.
Knight's Tale, man, that is a great movie.
Yep, it is a great movie.
Well, the
You
Pope
should watch
might
it, Shadow.
The Pope might be French, but Jesus was English. Wait, what?
The list of movies and TV shows that I should have watched.
No, I mean like you should leave right now and go watch it.
It's not going to happen. I mean, I am going to leave in a bit. I've got a busy day tomorrow. But there's so. Oh my God.
No,
I really need to. Jackie
A Knight's Tale's high on that list of like really high. You should go watch it. It's really fun.
I know we're going. That'll be definitely on my list of movies to review when I start to get the show back going.
You're not getting the show back going.
Oh, I am.
Yes,
isn't Heath Ledger in it?
Yeah,
yes, he's the main character.
Heath Ledger's in it. The guy who played Wash, Firefly is in it. The guy who played Vision off of the Marvel movies is in it. He's been in a few other things. Beautiful Minds. He was in Beautiful Minds.
Russell Crowe?
No, the other guy.
With Russell Crowe. Yeah.
Not Russell Crowe though.
No.
The other guy.
The other guy. There's the person is in his imagination off Beautiful Minds. I'm looking for a cocktail party. What was that line? I'm looking for a cocktail party. I'm providing cock. I'm just looking for a little tail.
You have that movie on VHS, but do you have a VHS player?
That still works.
I haven't seen a VHS player in just about Jackie's lifetime.
There is a VH player in this house somewhere. I think it might be out in the garage. It's one of those dual DV player VHS.
Yeah.
Because they weren't ready to give up to Blu-ray quite yet.
I've got a box of like maybe a half a dozen VHS cassettes, and
I still have two.
One of them I kept only because it was my dad's. It's Creature from the Black Lagoon, my favorite Universal monster movie, and he got it. I don't know if he got it from me or he got it from himself, because we both love that movie. It was our favorite of all the Universal, and it's got to be like 40 years old now.
I think on VHS I still have floating around My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah, absolutely,
that's
fabulous.
A great movie.
That was a fun show. My friend Ron loves that show even to this day.
That's another movie I might have to torture you guys with. My Cousin Vinny.
I could watch that again, but
most of the lawyers I know actually love that movie because it's dated.
Well, not just that, but I mean of literally, there's probably like 1,000 movies literally I need to watch, to catch up with like most of the people I know, because I was busy doing other things instead of sitting in front of a screen when I was younger.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
Yeah. Hey, you should get on Warcraft. What was it? A craft? Was that old MMA Warcraft?
World of Warcraft.
Yeah. You should get him like, no, I'm kind of busy. Doing what? Having a girlfriend? Hey, you should sit down in the basement and roll some dice with us and play Dungeons and Dragons. No.
Those are things you do without your girlfriend, though. You take
Yeah.
your girlfriend to the movies and watch a movie.
Exactly.
And if you're smart, you have dinner after the movie. That way, you have something to talk about when you're new at dating. I tried to explain this to a kid not too long ago. It's like you do the movie first, then you go to the restaurant. That way, you're not sitting awkwardly at the table looking at each other like dumbasses, not having anything to talk about.
You know what they need to bring
If you're
back?
new to that, if you're a kid out there,
Drive-in
you
movie
want-
theaters.
what they need to bring back is
Baby
fucking
Boom Part 2.
back seats of the car.
Oh, yeah. As I said, Baby Boom Part 2.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It was literally one of the
This
But the
generation we got now, right? Besides like the odd Chad here or there, they are the most over sexualized and undersexed fucking generation.
yes.
It's shocking when you look at the stats of it.
Well, my oldest is 23. He asked me
Dating advice with Justin. Yeah,
Yes.
But it's dating advice that fucking works. Okay, it's dating advice that works.
Don't date girls you go to church with. Don't do that. Don't take girls you go to school with, because if it breaks out, if it doesn't work out, you're stuck with them.
Yes,
or
yes,
no.
that's fine.
Well, I mean, it depends on what kind of high school you go to, or middle school, whatever.
Don't date your boss's your dad's boss's daughter.
Definitely not. Don't date anyone you work with. Period.
Well, not dating girls who go to high. Don't see with the translate with it works out, because that was one of my rules.
Yes, Carl. Don't sleep with the trans.
That's a good one. No, my rule.
You said that in that stumble.
Yeah. My rule in high school, when I was in high school, and was not date girls I go to high school with, because I was small high school. Yeah, I can't avoid them. So that rule evolved into do not date people you work with. It's a stepping stone. Don't shit where you eat. Don't piss in
but
the
I mean,
pool.
like in California, almost every high school has got about 1,000 students. It's
a case by case. It's a case by case scenario.
Yes, and the good thing about dating a girl that you go to high school with is you can make out during lunch.
Marry your best
Or
friend.
if you're old enough and you've got a car.
Yeah.
Do not date friends. If you and this other person are friends first, do not date them. If you become,
I don't know about that. And I don't know what
that is a quick way to ruin. And in some situations, that friendship is more important than the relationship.
I don't know. Like, here's the best thing to do.
Oh, and date dirty girls.
Is to find the girl at church, marry her when you're 18, and stay together for your entire life happily. If you can do that,
you don't pick up girls.
That's the way. There's a reason. That's why. That's
why the church exists.
No. Do not date girls you meet at church.
That's why the church exists.
No, keep church out of my. No.
This literally is purpose for existing.
I've dated a couple of ministers' daughters, and don't do that. Don't do that. If you meet a girl at church, that's cool.
The literal purpose of that kind of institution is to help the community keep growing. Not the church's dominion over people, but like your actual community from like stabilizing. You're supposed to meet people. Like it's a forced event that you meet the other people in your community.
No. If it's a forced event, you pick them up at the grocery store.
With chloroform, Connell?
Hey, no one ever bitches about a little copper taste in the mouth.
As long as it's followed by a salty taste? Shadow? What does meth taste like, Shadow?
Bleach. and ammonia and maybe peroxide. It's a very chemically awful. Yeah.
You've done meth, so I'm assuming
You
did
guys
else.
have all these rules. Who can live up to such a list? They're not hard rules. They're just common sense. Common sense.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, most
Yeah.
of us here have, dated more than one person. So
Yes, if you've been going out with a chick for several months, you can go to dinner before the movie.
And poker in the butt.
Don't do butt sex. Butt sex is gay.
No, that's
they're all full of shit. No, we are not. We're wise beyond our years, and some of us wise
Raven, have you ever
almost up to our years.
have you ever gone out on a date and looked over and seen a poor 14-year-old kid with a girl at the same restaurant staring across at each other awkwardly with nothing to talk about? And then when she goes to the bathroom, you lean over to the kid and said, "Did you go to the movie first?" And he's like, "No, why not?" Because that's
um,
a true story. That
oh
that
god.
that happened to me. Not me as the kid, me as the guy leaning over to the kid.
Oh,
It's like,
don't ever agree to blind dates.
yes. Well, it was obvious that
What's
like
wrong with
this
dating the
guy
blind?
was like,
That's not why I
yes.
meant. Blind
Yeah,
dates
I mean,
equal
they deserve
foreplay.
loving too.
No, they don't. They should all be
yeah.
taken.
And look,
At least one of you can guarantee someone's not ugly in the relationship.
yeah.
Unless you're
Look,
Ray Charles, who knew when he was dealing with a fat chick.
well,
Some guys like
everyone
that
knows when
chick.
they're dealing with a fat chick. You just do this.
Yeah.
And if you hear movement,
No.
oh, you were talking about something else.
So my 23-year-old autistic son came to me a couple months ago. Was like, Connell, I want to start dating. I don't know how. Do you have any advice? I'm like, no, not really. Because
Stop being autistic.
dating when I was a teenager or a young adult is different than what dating is now. When I
Yes.
was 23 years old, I went to the bar.
Well,
Now,
that still works. Well, just
not
going
in my
outside.
area, not so much. Now people meet up on the internet, and you're praying that the person you're talking to is what they say that they. Dating is a minefield.
Well, it always has been. But no,
Oh,
seriously. Just make a habit of going outside regularly, like literally going outside. Especially if you live in a place that isn't cold 12 months the year. So if it's summertime and you live like close to a beach, walk there, hang out for an hour or two, walk back. And
For
do
me,
that every fucking day. You're not required to be at work.
the best first date is going to the mall. There's a million
Well,
things to do, and you
you,
instantly find, well, not instantly, but by the end of the night,
you get shot by bleep 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 these days going to the mall.
well,
Uh,
okay, 30 years ago,
yes, 30 years
go to the
ago.
mall and you find out what they like, and uh, you know, you can't get screwed on a crazy expensive dinner because it's the food court. It's like,
Well,
the malls
these
barely
days.
exist anymore, and if they do exist, you don't want to go there longer than 15 minutes.
no, the one we've got is really nice, and it's nothing like
You live out
Justin
in
was
the middle
talking
of
about.
nowhere.
I mean, that's not I think colleges, like college towns, like true college towns, I think some of the malls are still doing well. I know the one in Champaign is still doing well, but the one here in Peoria is basically shot the bed.
Yeah.
The internet killed. You know how the radio killed? Was it the TV killed the radio star?
The radio.
The internet killed the stores.
Yes,
Um, yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, like ours
Well, at least the
has a
mall.
lot of things you won't find anywhere else.
No, there's nothing you won't find on the internet.
Well, I mean, in the experience.
You This guy talking about the intangibles of experiential items. This guy right here, the guy is always like, I only buy things to sell them, and it's all about how much it's worth. This guy right
No,
here.
that's not me at all.
That is absolutely you.
I mean, that's me with some things, but not everything.
You can't buy
Some things
love.
I do buy for investment purposes.
Oh, for $60 a half hour, you most certainly get.
Oh,
But,
and
no,
per
no, I
really
mean, we've got, or at least we used to have like C's candy.
Yeah.
You go in there, you look around, you pretend like you're gonna buy some, you get a free piece of candy, you leave. You go to the massage chairs, you go to the food court. There's a movie theater there. There's a lot of different things you can just randomly decide what to do. Plus, there's all the kinds of novelty shops and things like that. And you can like if you go into Spencer's, if there's still Spencer's, I don't know.
There are. I usually
are.
shop at Spencer's.
If you walk by the adult sort of section, and they stop, you're like, okay, all right, we're going somewhere. If they hurry by, you're like, okay, I now know I can't talk about certain things. If they go, depending on the kinds of clothing shops they want to go in, if they go to Hot Topic, you need to like run fast.
Really quick. Hold on.
There's nothing wrong with Hot Topic.
Hold on.
I know. It's being,
Love is not blind. It's mildly retarded.
I will caveat that the word mildly is not appropriate for that sentence.
I caveat this.
I missed that. I so missed that. That's something they don't have on Restream.
Yes, they do.
Really?
Just don't do it. I don't like it. It's rude.
I didn't know.
Having a perfectly good conversation with you guys. This guy's cut me off, being a dick.
Don't be like
I
that.
just said that it's just fully retarded. I will leave.
No, come on.
Again, I will leave.
All right, I'm. Well, I won't lie, but I won't do it again.
Look at it from our perspective, Justin.
At least tonight, I won't do it to you, Justin, for the rest of the night. Okay?
I don't believe you.
I'll just do it to Shadow.
See, it's funny. Even I think it's funny.
Yes,
no,
but it is
love
annoying.
Is not blind, it's deaf, dumb, and lobotomized. Let's get it right.
That's if you get a Catholic.
What happened? I disappeared. I don't know.
I'm gonna cut tonight short.
I was doing my Raven impersonation.
This is a normal time.
Maybe go away again.
But no.
So you have to stay now. We're gonna do another half hour just to make you stay.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm gonna try to get some sleep tonight. I have a rugby game tomorrow. I'm gonna go to.
Oh,
hell yeah! I miss playing rugby. I miss boxing, but I do miss rugby.
Hardy har har. I haven't heard that in.
But when you tackle
Hardy har
somebody,
har. I have
survive?
not heard that in like 25 years or more.
What?
Hardy har har.
Oh, I hear at least once a week.
Really?
There's this guy at the lounge, 67, 68 years old, stroke survivor, former cop. No fucking sense of humor whatsoever. We're just busting each other's
Can you
fucking.
imagine, why? I mean, come on.
Yeah. And we'll just start fucking just tearing into each other at the lounge. Guys being guys, right? And he'll go hardy har har. I'm like, I just want to say something to him. I'm like, but I'm not going to pick on a 67-year-old stroke survivor. I'm like, fuck, that's a hard pass. Damn it.
You just sit down at this table one day and go, do you want your membership revoked? Hardy har har.
His son is getting married. He's like, I really wish my son would have invited me to the bachelor party. I'm like, no. Fathers do not go to their sons' bachelor parties. That's weird.
Yeah. It is very weird.
Sorry, Raven.
No, yeah.
I don't have time for the antiquated freaking sarcasm. It's just,
Do you have the time? No, I don't. God, Laszlo. That's funny. When Laszlo was younger, he would he was a good kid. He would just whine from time to time. And one day I was listening to the radio, and was it Green Day came on? Do you have the time to listen to me whine? And I'm like, do you have the time to listen to Laszlo whine? And he's like, that's not funny. I'm like, yeah, where I was saying that's fucking hilarious.
yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah, well, I don't want to be an American idiot. Yeah.
That's a great song.
It is. You know, as Trump said, we live
Nothing about them is great.
You're wrong.
You know what made Foo Fighters
They're
great?
shit libbed, but they're a shotgun.
Exactly. That's
Courtney Love.
once a year I sing Courtney Love thank you now. That's horrible. I'm going to hell.
I wasn't a fan of them much either.
But they are better than what was that fucking band called?
Nirvana.
Was it Nirvana?
Yeah.
Nirvana. Yeah, I was thinking Oasis for some reason, and I knew I was wrong. Because same time frame for me.
Early 90s music was
Yeah.
the grunge scene was just trash.
Yeah,
I can't.
But-
I was just trying to think of a single '90s band that I
garbage.
I only know like
Cranberries.
one song by them. I can't think of any band that from that era that I would
Came
came out in that era that I would buy their CD.
early 90s Cranberry Zombie was probably one of the best songs that came out of the early 90s.
Yeah, I think I actually have a couple of their CDs to be honest. Didn't she die?
Yeah, she
like
died a
3
couple years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, Linkin Park's got a couple of good songs.
Linkin Park
I
was in the
love
90s. That
Seal's
was
first album.
Linkin Park was not early 90s. That was late 90s at the earliest, maybe 96, but when they got started, but not.
I don't like Linkin Park.
Seal, Kissed by the Rose was a good
Yeah.
song.
I listened to that this morning.
The whole album,
yesterday.
this first album was really good. Just
It was- It was the best thing that came out of that Batman movie.
the 90s were I have very little memories.
Goo Goo
of
Dolls
the 90s.
wasn't bad, but I think Goo Goo Dolls were also late 90s, early 2000s.
Zero.
Blind Melon was good.
Blind Melon was okay. There's a female in Linkin Park.
Now there is. They just need to break up.
Huh.
Anyways, as I've said multiple times, when the cigar is gone, I'm gone. With that being said, Justin, hope you feel better, you wanker.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know. I was just kind of nauseous and dizzy earlier. I need
don't eat ass first.
I don't eat ass at all. Butt stuff is gay.
Yes.
Full stop. Always.
All right. Ozzy was in the 90s. He did have a couple good albums in the 90s, but he didn't come out in the 90s. That was more or less music from the 90s, where he's like,
it's the 70s, 60s.
yeah.
Yeah, I really can't think of anything I really liked after Bark at the Moon from him. I saw Bark at the Moon where where Metallica opened up for them.
Smashing
And-
Pumpkins.
Oh, yeah, I like Smashing Pumpkins. Oh, you mean the band?
Yes.
They did like some great songs off that movie you like with the blue penis.
Oh man,
They
actually
did
half
some
tempted to
songs.
I was half tempted to watch
Oh.
Watchmen the other night, and I decided I'd just rather go, drink.
Yeah.
That's literally
said-
the greatest movie of all time. What are you talking about?
We're talking about Smashing Pumpkins, and I said they did some songs off that movie you like with the blue penis, and then you're
They
like,
did.
what?
I don't remember a single one of their songs.
Yeah.
The only
Really?
song from that movie that sticks out to me is that not John Denver.
Bob Dylan.
Who?
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan. Yeah. You know
That's the
he's still
first
alive.
song. Yes, he's still alive.
I did not
Yeah, I
know
thought
that.
it was dead too.
He came to town like a month ago.
Boss Skaggs is still alive. He's even older
The
than that.
Watchman.
He's going to be in California next month, I think. I was blown away. I was like, what?
I mean, nothing against Dylan. I just, like I said, thought he was dead.
Yeah. I thought that's why they kept making
You
movies
know what's
about him.
the
He
weirdest
died.
thing about him is he converted to Christianity a while back.
Well,
doesn't count.
as the older you get, reading the Bible is not for spiritual. It is cramming for the test.
Honestly, Randy Rhoads is better, even if he was a pole smoker. Jakey Lee was really good. I don't remember Zach Wilde.
Randy
99
Rhoads.
Loose Balloons was in The Watchmen? I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was. Randy Rhoads was, I mean, one of the
Super
best
good.
guitarists.
Super good.
I don't care.
He wasn't the best guitarist. He was good.
You ever sit and wonder, and this is the last thing I have to say before we all say goodnight. You ever wonder to yourself, did the wrong Corey die?
Corey Feldman or Corey Haim?
Yes.
Didn't
But that being said, bit of wisdom. You all have a good night.
Yeah. Shadow, the song from the commercial that